Well, hello YouTube IG. This is B and Z, and we're about to cover our third and final topic of today. Go ahead, Z.
Oh, okay. Yeah. In segment two, we discussed, we dwelled into politics and the history of certain events that formed our country. There was things that were brought up regarding the pecking order of the races or ethnic groups in this country that did not really support us in the civil rights movement in the 50s and 60s, so I want to touch on that for you. First of all, in the history of this country, immigrants have never been welcome. The Irish, the Italians, Polish, Czechs, Chinese, Japanese, Asians in general, they were basically in the same boat as black people, but a bigger boat, because they didn't come over here as slaves. They came over here on their own. We were drugged here, so there's a distinction. And then plus, they wasn't trying to rock the boat. Their civil rights were just as bad as ours, except that black people, Jewish people had always been the target of racial hatred. Now, prejudice is a whole different ballgame. I don't like the Irishman because he's drunk. I don't like the Mexicans because he's two young women and all that. That's different from being a slave in this country, a descendant of a slave, who kids were being sold, women were being raped. So I just want to put everything in a certain type of pecking order. Black people had always been the downtrodden of this country. No matter how bad they treated the other ethnic groups, they were on a higher level than we were. And those people wouldn't particularly like us either. So we're not going to get it twisted. Now, in today's society, we just witnessed the largest amount of this population ethnicity going in the direction of one direction, justice. We're seeing people whose groups had never stood up in large numbers to support black people in any type of way. But, and this is just my opinion, right? Enough time has gone by since the original civil rights movement that people have mingled more with each other. Right. Black people are more successful now than they have ever been. And as a matter of fact, we are heroes to a lot of these races who at one time found us disgusting and would not even let us drink the water fountain. So I want to put that in there so that everybody understands where we are as far as a race in this country. Right. Right now, these races now are feeling what we've been feeling since 1619. That's the year they brought us over here. Right. We got Asians being murdered because they're Asian. We got Mexicans being murdered because they're Mexican. Hell, their children were putting dog cages at the border, and people voted for the man that did that shit to those kids. It shows you that, yes, black people have come a long way. Right. But it also shows you that we have.
Hey, how's it going? Oh, right, and yourself?
Okay, so I guess my rebuttal to that is okay, we made some strides, but my thing is we went backwards as a people.
More worse than shit now.
Yeah, because here's my question. Okay, for all the education, for all the good paying jobs a lot of us got and everything, where's the power at? Because we whether anyone wants to say it or not, we're actually fourth class citizens at this point.
Right.
The Hispanics passed us up, the Asians passed us up, the Jewish passed us up. And man, okay, our numbers are larger than some of the ones I just named, but yet still, who got the power? Because my thing is, I don't care about, okay, a couple tokens who are millionaires and billionaires. What does that mean for the collective? Because back in the 60s, and I'll even go back to even the early 70s where a lot of our people were still segregated, into our own neighborhoods.
Right.
Okay, you could have a well-paying job and everything. Your doctors, your attorneys, even some of your pro athletes would still be in in the same as people call it the hood. Why? Because you didn't have no options. They redlined us and everything. Now, segregation was bad, but it had a lot of financial benefits from that and everything. We spent with our own, we built with our own. Now, when the civil rights era had ended, we can live where we want to live, and live where we want to live ain't next to me, ain't next to you, ain't next to you. And a lot of them, they just want to go ahead and be separate and be accepted by the white power structure. And you wonder where a lot of this hatred comes from, where someone who got something versus someone who's struggling and everything. Okay, that's part of it, but the good part of it comes from bad home training. Because I can recall back in the day, and I know you gentlemen can agree with me, where your parents, if they didn't catch you messing up, and when the neighbors caught you screwing up, doing wrong, they would beat your ass. Then once you get home, you get your ass beat, and you better not say nothing.
When you was in school, teacher got you first, sent you to the principal, he got you next. When he made that phone call,
That's your ass.
that's your ass. And then your grandmother got wound up, and it didn't, it wasn't over with.
Hell no. You get at least
Right.
on a good day.
Right.
It was 2 ass whoopings.
Right.
And-
Not more.
If not more.
No,
That
I'm
was
saying
terrible.
no. A good day was 2 ass whoopings.
Yeah.
You got lucky, cause I remember a bunch of times I'm like, man, he got lucky. He only got his ass whooped twice, too. Because I know y'all can recall people get beat with razor straps, belts,
Or that one I heard, the extension cord.
Oh, yeah.
When you thought you made it up the stairs, it went up the stairs,
Woo.
and busted left and caught you.
And some people call that abuse and everything.
That was
It is
hardcore.
abuse.
It really was.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
now, I'm glad you just touched on 3 different stuff, and we needed to do separate podcasts on those 3 different subjects.
We do it next
One of them was white power. Now I'm gonna tell you, one of the biggest reasons why black people are so far behind all these other ethnic groups as far as being our community being economically able to support themselves is the fact that we were enslaved and taught to be blue collar. So black people were just happy to have a job. Period. Now, this is what black people don't understand about America. America is not a democracy. That's what another part of it. America is a capitalistic society. And black people don't understand that. See, while you out buying your kids $250 pair of Michael Jordan,
Right.
and you got a car that you can't afford,
Right.
how much money are you putting in your kids' college?
None.
We have become our own enemy, not because of our making, but the brainwashing
Right.
that blacks went through and
Right.
passed it on from
Generation to
It's
generation.
almost like a curse, a generational curse. That black people do not even teach their history
They don't even teach the history.
to their kids about slavery.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it gets to a point when you say, people say, well, it's this reason, that reason. It's a whole
Gang of
barrel
reasons if you
bullshit.
want to
Yeah, if you wanna-
get technical.
If you want to get technical about it. Even the way they discipline us is abuse.
Right.
The first violence that you experience as a child is from the people that claim they love you. White kids don't go through all that physical violence that we do at home. But there's a reason that black parents do that. It's taught to them.
It's taught to
When they
them.
was out in the field and they looked like they was taking a rest and picking that cotton, what happened to them?
Exactly. So that's why we,
And so they go home and do their kids the same way.
and that's why we the only ethnic
Yeah.
that people can control through emotions.
And look at the black comedians, for example. The black comedians, even in some of their routines, when they're on stage, they talk about themselves, about how the mother and father would get you down and stuff like that. White kids be in the grocery store, just showing his ass and screaming and hollering, and then you have the comedian say, if that was me, my mother would take me outside and kill me.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But when in reality, this kid is not, you're not beating him down to a point where you're stealing his heart.
No good.
That you're stealing his heart. See?
So, you saying those things?
Yeah. Oh, and yeah, go ahead.
Well, okay, this is what I could say on that though. Okay. I will agree that it is, okay, that it was abuse, but I just need to start formulating what is abuse from the European perspective. And for me and everything, okay, I believe everything starts in the home.
Right.
Okay, me and you don't have to run our household the same way for it to be right and everything. Because people have different outlooks, different things and everything. And I think one of our bigger mistakes in our culture is, okay, telling these Europeans what goes on in our culture, because back in the day, culturally speaking, we didn't do that.
Well, what happened in your house stayed in your house, and our problem is we get so comfortable and we get baited into other people's conversations. They tell you a lot of their personal just to get you comfortable, for you to expose yours.
Yeah.
And don't ever fall for that booby trap.
And to me, it's different levels of love when it comes to black people. Don't forget, being a slave was the most horrific thing that could happen to a person.
Right.
Of any race.
Of any
It
race.
got nothing to do with race. It got to do with the horrific mental conditioning to make a person believe that not only are you a slave, that if you're not a good slave, God got a special place. See, I'm touching on stuff now. People need to go to black bookstores and buy this literature from black sociology.
Okay.
See, a lot of people that's going to hear this on podcast, they're going to start scratching their head and saying, what are you talking about?
Right.
Because if you're a badass, you're supposed to get your ass tore up. No.
Right.
You know, I got 8 kids. I never put my hands on one of my kids. And then have no hard time raising them, because if what you put into a person is what you get out.
Right, and the world determines who you are.
Exactly right. See, the Europeans were good at brainwashing so that we would do our own self.
And that's what we did.
Yeah, like the Willie Lynch doctrine. And I read that doctrine.
Right.
And to paraphrase it, because it takes too long to explain it, the doctrine basically taught slave owners how to divide the relationship between black men and black women to a point where they would never, ever love each other.
And it shows on the memes and the posts. Don't no other ethnic talk about relationships like we do.
Thank you.
But we're repeating history.
Right.
We expect crappie and red snapper out of the Calumet River. You want crappie and red snapper, go to Lake Michigan.
Yeah.
Go to Quality Lake.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Because you cannot fish in muddy water
No.
and think that you're going to get something to taste good. It's not going to happen.
You're not even going to get the scavenger in that.
You can't run clean water and dirty water through the same faucet and think that what you got in your glass that you drink is clean. It don't work like that.
Don't work like
And with black people, that's what it is.
Right.
Not only were we abused by every race in America,
Right.
because Native Americans owned slaves too, Chinese people, Germans. Our blood has been so mixed that when you look at a black person, you can't really say that's a black person.
Right.
Because of everything that's going on.
And it has a lot to do with your mental,
Thank you.
because what your ancestors ate, especially blacks when it comes to swine. it ain't just alcohol.
Yeah,
Swine has a lot to do with your
Yeah.
mental, what you put in your body.
right. You are what you eat.
What they ate over the years, all that cholesterol is in your DNA from your ancestors.
Right. So when the first abuse that most kids get is not from mom. It's
Right.
from mom and dad
Right.
beating them till they can't breathe.
Right.
And then telling them,
Okay. This concludes today's topic. We'll get back with you all. It runs deep, so we'll be doing this regularly with you.
yeah. Yeah, I want to finish this though.
Okay, go ahead.
And this is from my experience. For years, my mom and dad were beating us like we had actually robbed the bank. But as a kid, you think it's normal because your friends are getting beat down in front of you too by their parents. And sometimes your parents get to beat them down.
Right.
So you think this is normal behavior. But what they are doing is conditioning you to be a violent person.
That's really all it is, and this generation, pretty much, this era, is exposing all the hidden secrets of our ancestors' past.
And
Right.
one of the biggest problems we have, and we touched on it in one of them segments, I can't remember one, is that when we get all our black people together that have made it, because some kind of way they either seen America for what it was and bypassed a lot of bullshit that's in the way, they don't come back and say, hey y'all, this is the way y'all need to be doing this thing.
Right.
So what they're doing is our best and brightest are more of a blessing to the very people that put us in this position in the first place.
Exactly.
When you look at the huge amounts of black women that are marrying white men now, they're scooping up the women we should be marrying.
They really are.
They college educated women. Women with loving hearts. Because their mamas done brought them up that way. Their daddies, they had real daddies. They didn't have these niggas that were sitting up after he hit the liquor store with his friends, go home and knock your mama up.
Right, she's out making the money. He's sitting in there,
Right.
you know.
Smoking and drinking.
Yeah. And then he mad and he like to grab you and throw you against the wall and then teach you that, oh, I'm being hard on you to make you tough. No. What you're doing is you're gonna make me kill somebody when I'm old enough to kill somebody. Because you're not showing me no love, so therefore I don't know how to love.
Exactly.
I don't know how to forgive.
Right.
See, with my kids, I talked to each and every one of them. I spent time with them so that as they made a mistake, they would come tell me.
Right.
It got to the point where when I told one of my kids, hey, don't eat no snacks before dinner. And they snuck and ate a snack.
Right.
I'd be sitting up watching TV and one would walk up to me in tears and say, Dad, you told me not to eat a snack and I ate a snack. And be in real tears. I'm kidding. I ain't never put my hands on it.
Right.
That's love.
That's love. You have to instill
And
that.
then you have to reward that.
Right.
You know, I'm not going to sit up because whether you ate that snack or not and you ruined your dinner, you're the one that's going to pay the consequences for
Right.
it. So I don't need to be knocking you down and kicking you in the ass and humiliating you. And
No.
here's something else too that parents used to do in front of you. After they whooped your ass, they went and called somebody and told somebody they whooped your ass and you hearing the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
See,
remember.
see,
Right.
we went through so much mental abuse. It's not a wonder that we all are legally crazy to some extent.
You know what, man? We all are crazy to some extent.
Thank you.
I'm at a point now, I can't point at nobody without talking about myself first.
Yeah.
Because we all went through something, and some of them went through deeper stuff.
Way deep.
Way
where,
deep.
Where somebody's been sexually abused.
Know what I believe that would probably be next on future podcasts and everything, because I think right now we probably in the overtime right about now.
That's cool. That one you can actually, I'm going to download and send it to you on Facebook, and then you can throw it on Facebook. Because I'm not on there. I'm going to send you to YouTube. That one's strictly for YouTube. This topic.
Yeah.
This one's a little deeper.
And then, if we're going to do this, we need to write our scripts out.
Write our scripts out, do our research.
That's
Yeah, we still go.
Okay.
Yeah, ain't nothing. We're being ourselves.
I know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're being ourselves. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we need to do.
Right. Because what we want to do is we want this to come off as professional and
Right.
factual
Factual.
as we can get.
Exactly.
Because see, I'm not going to talk about nothing based
Right.
on my personal opinion unless I got facts.
You got to get facts and going in quick.
Right.
Right.
See, my experiences, I share with everybody because they read.
Right.
Good or bad, they
Right.
read.
They real.
And there's somebody out there that don't went through what I went through
And they need that.
and may not know how to deal with it.
Exactly. They need that uplift.
Yeah, because I'm going to tell you something. When I finally cried out to God, and God walked in my life, the first person he didn't show me the people that shaped me into iniquity. He showed me iniquity. He showed me how horrible I was.
Right, because everybody that you attract is a piece of a reflection of yourself.
Exactly.
Hey, here's what
Birds
it
of a
is.
feather flock together.
Right.
See what
right,
I'm saying?
Exactly. So,
Because I noticed that for a while, all my buddies were actually people that kill people.
okay.
You know, and I had the same mentality.
Right.
Because, like I said, my life was filled with violence, and we're not talking about out in the streets, but out in the streets. But the first violence I experienced was at home.
Okay.
That trying to avoid all them beatings because they mad that you was born. And I can't speak to anybody else, but my mom used to tell me all the time, hey, if it wasn't for y'all, I'd have this, I'd be doing that. If I had to do it all over again, then y'all be born. That fucks a kid's head up. You know what I'm saying? That fucks a kid's head up.
Because I knew one young lady was saying that basically when she was growing up, her mother was out there and at 5 she used to have to lock her bedroom door because guys was trying to come in. And one thing I learned after dating her, she woke me up on why a lot of these women got issues.
Yeah.
And if you talk to them long enough and they get comfortable, I might be nice saying this because I know the percentage is higher, at least 75% of them been propositioned.
Yeah. See, go ahead.
I think that's like one of 100 things that we need to talk about.
It's so much.
It's so much, man.
That was among 100 things to touch on and actually fully address, not just sweep it on the rug, not just having casual conversation. My thing is the accountability. Where's this being talked about in the church? Where's this being talked about in school at? Because
that's going to take quite a few podcasts. when you
Yeah,
bring
that runs
church.
deep. Yeah.
See, because my thing is, okay, if you could go ahead and give gay history lesson in school, okay, guess what? Now you have the due responsibility to talk about all the other things that come with school as well. Okay, now you talk about don't talk to a stranger and everything.
Right.
So guess what? Why not talk to a stranger? Could it be because they could be sexual predators, because we don't talk about how the relatives are the main ones who are the predators. It's not necessarily that stranger, it's the relatives in the family. That cousin,
I
that
heard
uncle.
that, yeah, because
And we gotta stop that though, because we're gonna have many more generations suffering from post-traumatic slavery disease. Because I consider it a disease. For me, the reason I say disease is because it's just like alcoholism, you know what I mean? Okay, to say it's a disorder, okay, you just put it on the social order and everything. It's like, nah, it's beyond that disorder. It's way beyond that and everything. Okay, this right here is generational, along with a social order and a couple things in between where it's going to take about another 30 minutes to dissect. But, it's a short version of it. And it's just stress.
Yeah. Now, I'm gonna piggyback on what you just said. I have no faith in the word whatsoever, because that's a man-made entity in this country. And one of the reasons they took prayer out of the school was so that they could start programming children based on man and not of God. Because see, that's what defeated slavery in the first place. in the South, there was no schools. No elementary schools, no high schools, no colleges. So where did that white man have to send his kids up north to go to school? And back in the day, all the schools was founded by religious orders. So in every school, the principal was normally a reverend or a minister, and the teachers was normally women of God. So the first thing they talked about in them lessons was slavery. So when those kids grew up, you know, there's a scripture that says, teach your kids and put your kids in the direction that you want that kid to grow. And as that kid grows, he'll grow in that direction. So now you got an 8-year-old boy that you got in northern school. The school teaching him that slavery is bad and the people who enslaved are bad. And these are his parents. So he in school till he about 18 years old. Now when he returned to the South, guess who he is with? Them slaves. The Underground Railroad would have never worked without the children of the slave owners. It would never have worked. And they don't talk about it enough. They'll say, Moses, which is what her name is, they call her Underground Railroad.
Harriet Tubman.
Yeah, Harriet Tubman. Well, Harriet Tubman did that without somebody's help.
Yes.
And then when you do the research, it helped came from the fact that the one downfall of the South was the aristocrats wanted to keep everybody in slavery. We're not talking about black people. We're talking about white people too. Those white people walking around with no shoes on, fighting in the Civil War. And see, and that exists in the South today. You got two types of people. You got those people that got everything, and you got those people that work for those people. That's why wages are lower in the South. Now, when people say, oh man, you know, you need to move to Atlanta, you need to move to here, they got plenty of jobs. But what they don't tell you is, you got to work plenty of them jobs.
You gotta work plenty of them jobs. You're not gonna walk into no 6 figures.
No, you're not going to walk into an income.
Yeah, with a degree you're not. Yeah. Even then you're not. That's just the way it is. You're not gonna walk into that.
Now, there's certain areas of society down there that are hyped more than others. Like if you're a medical professional or in law enforcement, the South is the place to go. Because those are the people that make the money. For ordinary jobs, that like here, when you got ordinary labor jobs that might pay $10 to $12 an hour, probably in the South gonna make about $8.
Exactly.
So that's how they keep you in bondage because and that's why the Democrats don't stay in office. See, the Democrat part is all about what they call aristocrats. See, you know that it's a Republican or Democrat, it's called aristocrats. Those are true capitalists in America. I tell people in a heartbeat, please listen. Do not think you got rights to be this is democracy. If you ain't got money, you don't need that. Poor people die by the thousands every day. You know why? They poor people.
Poor people, and they out there trying to survive.
Look at all these people living on the street and mentally ill and out there in this society.
Right.
We'll send Saudi Arabia $10 trillion. We'll send the Palestinians money.
Exactly.
We'll send Israel money.
Right.
And we'll
Hey, all right.
See you working out. You working
I'm gonna do some work. Talk.
okay. That's the way I learn. You gotta teach me that.
Right.
You gotta be a good role model.
This concludes today's episode. We'll be getting back to you all later. All right.
And see, and when